The other day, we talked about a few concerns that I had for Black Ops 7 that I do think were important to talk about. Things that are critical to the game's success, in my own personal opinion, that if there's any chance those concerns can be raised to the point that it makes its way up the flagpole, that's great. But today, I want to take a broader approach and talk a bit more optimistically, perhaps, about my hopes and wish list for the game. Not necessarily concerns, but things that I'd like to see that I believe could make the game even better in each category's own right. Now, this is all subjective, so by no means will I get everything right and hit it on the head for what you think or what the next person may see as important, but I wanted to share my thoughts today on all of it. Drop your thoughts down below and your wish list, what it would be. Drop a like if you enjoy, subscribe to the channel for more, and make sure to join in on the conversation as that happens over on Twitch. Link down below. I'd love to chat with you guys. But anyways, let's get into it. So first, we're going to talk about mostly multiplayer, but there is one thing that I do want to talk about with campaign, and simply, please be good. Like, God, please be a good campaign, man. Following Black Ops 2, my favorite game in the franchise, and having a heavy interest the last few years in a single-player experience, I know, kind of strike one. It's already marketed as co-op, but still playable as solo, but you get my point. I really like the narrative-driven games the last few years, getting into my sort of old man gamer era, where, yeah, I can still absolutely keep up an MP, and I'd still say I'm pretty good, but I genuinely do not care about gameplay or anything. So to follow the story of Black Ops 2, I'm begging for a good narrative. I get all the rumors that are pointing towards an open world campaign in Avalon. It's already kind of been confirmed on the COD pod recently that I don't think that I'm going to like that. I think it's going to be a bit tacky because grand scheme of things, a campaign on a Warzone map, that's too small for an open world game. Like if you think of, I don't know, AC Shadows or something like that, an open world game where the map was huge, and yeah, sue me, I had fun playing it, but if you want an open world game, it needs to be bigger than a Warzone map. But while I think that in and of itself will be tacky if done like that, listen, it's the story I care about. If it's good enough, I'll take even that. Please. I'm begging Treyarch and Raven. You're playing with gold bars near the smelting setup, so just let's get a good one, man. But anyways, as for multiplayer, let's start out on the content side of things here. I think that everyone is expecting this game to be kind of bare bones just because it is a year two, and what we saw with Modern Warfare 3, no shade to Sledgehammer or anything, but like the launch offering was, as you could tell, something that was definitely made on a shortened timetable. Hopefully that's not necessarily the case. We, of course, have talked about maybe this game was split up in the Black Ops 6 development where you had 4 years. Maybe a year and a half of that leading up to Black Ops 6 was building the framework for Black Ops 7. It's rumored right now that Sledgehammer might be taking over the multiplayer of Black Ops 7, that it's something that Raven will be doing campaign, Sledge will be doing multiplayer, and Treyarch will be doing zombies, to which maybe that ends up expediting the process, giving us a fuller offering at launch as opposed to what we saw with maybe Modern Warfare 3's launch. But optimistic, I know, but I very much so would like this to have a solid offering at launch. A more generalist perspective on terms of a hope and wish list item also is the general upkeeping here of this, which firstly, I mean the handling of updates in general. Honestly, we gotta be faster on fixes and updates more than once a month for seasonal updates. There are so many different things that every single season will introduce sometimes more problems than it fixes. And when that happens, well, it then takes weeks to get things sorted again. If you have stuff that is broken, it needs to be fixed quickly. And I'm not talking just only the store being fixed after 20 minutes of being down. And that doesn't happen recently. Another thing that I also think in terms of general upkeep and the handling of the game comes down to the holiday breaks that we end up seeing happen every single season. This comes down to, I think, simply just a scheduling thing. Listen, whether you like the games or not, these people work year-round on these titles. They are entitled to a holiday break to go home and see their family, friends, and celebrate with all of them just as much as you or I. I'm not saying work them to death through the holiday or anything like that, but I think that we need to start taking a look at when Season 1's launch and when they'll end up being in a good position before or after that holiday break. Whenever the studios go on holiday break, they go on holiday break for a few weeks. So it seems like for about 3 to 4 weeks, there's just nothing done with the game. But when Season 1 will usually launch in December of some time, about a week after that season launches is when they'll start their holiday breaks. So as we talked about, the handling of updates that don't go out as fast as they should, they're not going to catch these game-breaking issues and have fixes for them in that final week in which they are in the office before being out for weeks on end. That's one thing that we just gotta either shift season 1 up further so that you have more time to deal with that before the holiday break, or I don't even like saying this, but it is one of those things that I think if it could provide a stable build of the game, push it until after the holiday break. I still think that you should do, push it earlier. You launch in October, and then like middle of November, you end up having season 1, so that way you have about a month of time that you can work with after a long holiday weekend for Thanksgiving here in the States and stuff like that. But I'm just hoping that this is the 5th integration we'll see, and seasonal 1 update like this that will have huge implications, that hopefully this time we can nail it. But okay, let's talk about gameplay mechanics. Omni movement doesn't appear to be going away. In fact, it seems like we're going to have an evolution of this, as they dubbed on the COD pod, so we'll see what that means. But beyond that, I kind of would like to see something where you have tac sprint versus traditional sprint again, and giving player choice. I know that it's kind of controversial to have as a perk, but I do like that you have the option to basically enable or disable tac sprint as a whole with the perk of slipstream, giving you the more traditional sprinting versus what we have had in these Modern Warfare engine games of Modern Warfare 2019, Vanguard, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3, and now Black Ops 6. I do think that player choice is certainly good, and I'm not quite sure if I'd like the perk to revolve around this is what enables tac sprint or this is what enables traditional sprint, but I do quite like the ability to choose. And hopefully, if it is still a perk or not something you can just toggle in your settings, that it isn't necessarily in a heavily contested category. Like, I'd be okay with if there really weren't any, let's just say, perk 1 categories, for an example, a lot of other choices that you're like, you know what, I'm gonna pick that. Like, if this is a crutch perk for tier 1, I'm kind of okay with that. Like, if it's something that can be commonly used, I like that idea. Pick 10 is also something that, honestly, I say bring it on. We talk about how people want COD to go back to the classic form. Pick 10 is about as classic as it gets to me. I know it's not necessarily the most classic. I mean, it was only introduced in Black Ops 2 after all, but I think that it creates a simplistic approach to gameplay, allowing the option to kit your weapon yourself as an operator with more perks, or even balance some of that. Now, how that ends up working in tandem with Gunsmith, I don't quite know how that would work out just yet, but I mean, thinking about following Black Ops 2, man, that would be such a good thing to bring back, I think. I'm not sure how much of a controversial take that will be in today's day and age with COD and how long it's been since we've seen Pick 10, but I mean, I'm all for it. Traditional prestige is also something that I do hope does make a return here. There was talks and rumors of like additional leveling in things like even your perks and equipment and stuff like that, but I'm talking more in like your actual rank. This traditional prestige is something that I really enjoyed the prestige grind again this year. First time since Black Ops 4 that we've had it. I've had a good run in Prestige Master 2. I mean, kind of, I'm like level 240 or something, but I also haven't played more than 5 matches a season since season 2. So I'd probably be like level 600, 700 if I actually stuck it out and grinded out every single night with my friends, but I just got a little burnt out. But to go a step further, this one might be controversial. I think we need to have a sort of fork in the ranking system, or a slight deviation in how it works between multiplayer and, well, Warzone. I think perhaps one of the biggest turnoffs to taking part in a leveling system within Black Ops 6's year of support for a large number of players, maybe not you or I, because we might care only about multiplayer more than anything else, is that Prestige relocks things for Warzone as well. A free-to-play player that if they only play Warzone, it will take forever to re-unlock those items. And then you have to do that 10 times over if you want to end up getting more challenges, you want to do your Prestige challenges, work towards Warzone 100%, or you just want to end up getting to Prestige Master. It's a lot tougher of a grind compared to just regular multiplayer. Personally, I think for Warzone, you either have a separate prestige system, something that's like automatic and level based. So at level 56, it's automatically prestige 2, or something like that where it's just simply level based, or just simply however you want to do it. Your first 55 levels are for Warzone only, the only time you have to unlock items. Because at the end of the day, the experiences are a bit different, and I feel like they could benefit being tailored to both of those experiences. Again, I don't know if that's a hot take, controversial, whatever the case, but I mean, I'd like to see how that would play out. Another couple of things that are on my wish list, which I think they're kind of a lock just because they're, Treyarch games here, or dubbed Treyarch games, even if Sledgehammer is something that is working on the multiplayer for it, is Dark Ops challenges and 100%er challenges. Dark Ops, I think this one's a given. We haven't had a Black Ops game since Black Ops 3 when they were introduced that didn't have one, but just to cover all the bases, it is one thing that I love to do in both multiplayer, zombies, and this year even in Warzone. I thought they're really fun to collect. I think it's really cool to uncover those, make guides on them whenever we end up learning what they are, and of course, for me, I like to do the completion stuff, so I like to get that Dark Ops Mastery calling card where I can. 100% challenges. I'll be honest with you, Black Ops 6 was the first time I actually sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm far enough along, I'm gonna actually do all of these challenges. And it was a lot of fun. Like, yes, super frustrating in the moment for sure, but I am glad that I did it. It was something that gave me a sort of purpose to jump on, even after I had done other things that otherwise I would have gotten bored with. So I loved that, and I really do think it's a nice addition. I wish I had the mental fortitude and the stamina to end up keeping up and doing like Zombies 100%er and Warzone 100%er, but I don't have that in me right now. But I am looking forward to doing that on a new game for a multiplayer at the very least again. As for your modes, things like party modes and having a mosh pit from the beginning, I think need to be there. I'm tired of seeing the same old modes that are essentially staples rolled out months after the fact as limited time modes. Just put them all in a mosh pit, man, and like make your actual like cool, different, unique game modes as LTMs. Even if you have less per season, I'm okay with that because a lot of the times they're kind of gimmicky and things that most players may not care too much about. So give those things to the staples, the gun game, the one in the chamber, sharpshooter, put that all into a playlist with infected and stuff like that, and just have it there from the beginning, man. We don't need to be playing this game that since like World War II, I think, is when we had things like Demolition being limited time modes. Just put them there from the beginning. One thing that popped up recently was the mercenary modes, which of course those are always pretty nice to not have to end up going like 1v6 in the matchmaking, where if you're the standout player in a lobby, you're going to end up having the same sort of matchmaking balance that will be 2, 3, 4, 5 other players also matched with the other enemy you have on the enemy team. So like mercenary modes, definitely nice to have, I think, as well. For score streaks versus kill streaks, I think if it was up to me, I'd prefer score streaks. Like if I had to have one, just because it rewards objective play, but I did like that Modern Warfare 3 had the toggle option. Again, player choice is always great to me. And if Sledgehammer's actually rumored to be doing multiplayer, you know, maybe we could see that come back. They already did it one time, you know? Then another thing for streaks that I so badly want to see return is looping streaks. I honestly don't remember the way that like was confirmed to do this. There is a way that you can have it loop sometimes within Black Ops 6. I think it might be like a case of if you end up having the score bonus specialty active and you end up getting your streaks dying and then calling them in, that will then contribute score to the next. I don't know if that was it or not, but I mean I have gameplay clips of where a chopper gunner basically got me another chopper gunner, but it's obviously not something that you can do every single time. There's a specific way you have to go about that. And obviously the last couple of games have not done looping streaks, but when it was around for that little bit within Modern Warfare 3 was some of the most fun that I had in multiplayer. I just honestly want my advanced UAVs to chain together so I can get a couple of nukes and stuff, you know? Going on a streak and then having to rely on your team to go on 4 or 5 kill streaks even to end up getting a UAV just to get that adequate information on where an enemy may be. It's not really a lot of fun to play that game a chance on a high streak. So I would love to be able to just take that into my own hands, but we'll see. Settings, I think that a console crossplay option is something that definitely needs to be carried over for what we have coming into Black Ops 7. I think that that is something that has worked out very well for a lot of players. Obviously, with things like Game Pass PC, it will still sometimes match you up with other PC players, but for the most part, it takes out probably, I'd say, like 95% of the opportunity if you don't want to play against PC and have a chance of being cheated against. Additionally, coming back to it, if they can make it a setting where you end up having the ability to end up choosing, okay, I want classic movement in terms of sprinting or tac sprint, I think that'd be really cool, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Then cosmetics are the last thing that I want to touch on in terms of like a category here. Firstly, I want a fair balance of design themes. Listen, they're not going to stop the crazy and over-the-top blueprints, operator skins, mastercrafts, and all because they sell like hotcakes. They are making so much money off of those, but I do think that we should start to see a fair balance of the crazy stuff and the more milsim-esque things, like the more grounded and realistic designs here with this. There are a couple of cool skins in the battle pass this season for Black Ops 6 that were like that were more milsim-esque, but maybe there's data to prove that these skins don't get nearly as many sales by comparison, but I find that hard to believe. I feel like there should at least be the option there that maybe have 50% crazy, 50% realistic. Maybe even 70% crazy, 30% realistic. But give the option for people that want that to end up having the opportunity to buy more skins like that. And honestly, I think that it will probably increase your revenue. That's just me, though. This one is not going to happen, but in the same vein, for those who do not care, a skin filter option would be sick to be able to toggle on and off if you want to see those crazy skins or not. Initially, when I think of this, I'm like, that's got to be some hard infrastructure to build. But then I think, wait a minute, it's not. The CDL broadcast for Codcaster already does that. Not sure if they have this year. I've just kind of tabbed most of the matches this year, but since Cold War, at least, they have, in order to sell team packs on the broadcast, make them match the player. What I mean by that is that the camo would be applied live, even if it wasn't the actual camo the player was using on that gun. What you saw on the broadcast didn't necessarily have to match up with the camo on the player's gun. So like, say for example, a member of Toronto picked up a phase weapon. This year, it'd be like picking up Simp's Jackal having the Atlanta phase camo. If Insight picks that up, his POV would then showcase the same Jackal that he just picked up with the Ultra camo on it. That's something that has happened since Black Ops Cold War in the broadcast perspective. Now again, I don't know if they're doing that much this year, but for multiple games in the past, they did do that. So the basic infrastructure is there at the very least. I don't know if scaling it would be something that, like, to the whole game offering is something that's too tall a task or breaks down the system when implemented, but like, man, that'd be so nice to have, but something tells me that that's not going to happen because probably seeing skins ends up incentivizing more sales, but whatever. And also, one thing that I was kind of off-put by with Black Ops 6 this year was the perma-unlocking of weapons, where it's an interesting decision. Yes, it's meant to incentivize buying shop items, especially later on in the year if you're a newer player, to perma-unlock weapons, but I don't think that it necessarily should be that case. I think that if you want to make those specific blueprints from the shop that you buy or earn through the battle pass, if you want to use those and make those the only usable ones, go ahead. But to completely unlock the weapon, I think is a bit too far. That's just me, though. And finally, cosmetic-wise, can we not buy Season 3 end up having $2,000+ worth of items in the shop? I mean, like, we've tallied that before here on the channel, and it's kind of absurd how much goes through all the different microtransactions in the game when you already paid a premium to end up playing this. But I mean, I guess bundles print money, right? How about that? If there's a cool blueprint, can we buy those individually instead? That'd be a nice update, but anyways, that is where I'm at. I'm probably going to forget so much, but in the interest of time, it's already been so long talking about all the things that I want in Black Ops 7. Let me know what you think. What do you guys think of this list? Is there anything you'd add to it, subtract to it? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 7 as we continue our coverage here, leading up to whenever the full reveal may end up being, and of course, with more FPS content along the way. Love having the community. For now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care, and peace.